anyone else just love drinking from a teacup on a Sunday? I think it sort of stems back from when I used to go and see my grandparents as a child on a Sunday when I was younger. We'd always have tea and cake at 4 o'clock. Oh, it's 4:45. Hi there and welcome back to Planet Property. Today I thought I'd do a video that I've been requested to make by a couple of people actually, and it's a very fair request. It's a very interesting matter, and I'm going to go into depth in what final assessment was like for me. So grab a cup of tea. I've got mine over there. I've got my shortbreads. They're just looking at me. I'm going to go get my shortbreads. My mum got me these from Edinburgh and they're just Scottish shortbread is the best. Does anyone else's partner eat pretty much everything out of the packet and leave just one so that they don't get in trouble for eating them all? I wanted more than one. So where to start? I think I'll start about 3 weeks prior to final assessment. I had been told that you get your date for final assessment 3 weeks prior to it occurring. Now, when I submitted my written submission, you can select which window you want to be in depending on your pathway. So my pathway, the planning and development pathway, had 2 windows for final assessment. It was either the 2nd week or the 4th week of May, and you had to rank your preferences, and I put the 2nd week as my first preference and the 4th week as my second preference. But I knew that I would be in May sometime because that was the only time they were doing the planning and development final assessments. So because I put that 1st week as my preference, I knew that around mid-April, mid to end of April, I would be receiving confirmation, or if it wasn't then I had the end date. So I kept checking my emails, kept checking my ARC, and I saw on ARC that I was given the date of the 17th of May. So I thought, right, great, okay, we've got the date confirmed now. I know what I'm working towards. I can work backwards from this. And then I got an email from the RICS the next day saying, you know, however many all be CC'd in, saying, you may have seen some dates on ARC. These are not finalised. Please do not use these as your dates for final assessment. I sort of thought, okay, this is a bit frustrating. It is now 3 weeks until the 17th of May. I think that was sort of a couple of days before exactly 3 weeks. Then on the exactly 3 weeks prior to 17th of May mark, I did get an email from the RICS saying your final assessment will be on the 17th of May. I hope that makes sense, and it's probably all quite convoluted, but basically the RICS didn't really know what they were doing, and they published things on ARC before they meant to do it, and whatever. I was 2nd week of May. So yeah, was working towards it, was all fine. The day before, I think it was the day before, or was it 2 days before? I was just reading through everything, making sure I knew what was going to happen. I attended loads of online training things for it, and I knew that you were held in this online virtual waiting room, and then you were admitted to the Teams meeting, and then from there it ran like regular final assessment. The 3 panelists would just question you, do your presentation, you get questions on that, and then you just get questions. Now the day before, I was rereading something, one of the emails that the RICS had sent me, and it said you will be sent a link to specific online training that you must complete prior to attending final assessment. You'll be sent this link within a week prior to your final assessment. And I thought, oh my god, I haven't had this link, I haven't done this training. Does this mean I can't do it? And I know that sounds ridiculous, but the RICS are the kind of institution that would say, oh, you've done all this hard work and everything, but sorry, I've seen you've not ticked the box that you've done the mandatory training, so sorry, can't complete final assessment today. So I was starting to get really quite panicky, thinking, oh my god, what am I going to do? I emailed someone the night before final assessment. I got an email address of someone within sort of candidate support or whatever, saying, I've not been given this link, do I need to do this training? My final assessment's supposed to be tomorrow, and it was at 1 o'clock as well, so you know, didn't even have the whole day the next day. I got a phone call the next morning saying, oh, yeah, sorry, I can see that we didn't send you an email out. Are you able to attend the training right now? And I was on the train because I chose to do my final assessment in the office in London. So I got the train up to London on the Thursday morning. The trains were all cancelled as well. It was a bit of a disaster of a day, looking back in hindsight. So I got the call and I said, I can't do right now, but I can do in an hour's time. Can you put that in? Got to London. District line was completely down. So I couldn't get to the office. Oh my God, how did that? No wonder I failed. I must have been so stressed on the day. Anyway, I got there and I had to attend this mandatory training pretty much the second I walked into the office. And it was sort of how to use Microsoft Teams. And I sort of thought, are you joking? We've been in a global pandemic for over a year. We've all been using Teams. I can't believe I'm spending an hour before my final assessment doing this. Although, to be honest, what else would I have been doing? Probably just stressing a bit more. So I did that. And then there was it was obviously just a bog standard slideshow that they show to everyone, because there were slides in there. This is what we recommend you do the night before final assessment. I was like, my final assessment is in an hour. This is a little bit redundant now. But yeah, so I did my training and yeah, I was in the office and I was with my friend who'd come in that day for a bit of moral support. She bought me a coffee and I went into one of the external client meeting rooms because they're sort of set away from the rest of the desks and area, and I knew I wasn't going to be disturbed because there's no one really going into the office at the moment. So I went there and my final assessment was at 1:15 p.m. and I knew I had to be logged on by 1:05. They say you must be logged on 10 minutes prior to your assessment start time. And this is just, they play these games with you. It's horrible. I had to sit in this virtual lobby for 10 minutes. There was nothing I could do other than drink the water that I'd brought in with me. But obviously I didn't want to go all through it because I needed it for final assessment, and also I really didn't want to have to go to the loo or something. So I was just sat there and my palms were getting sweaty and clammy. I was just trying to do really deep breathing and a bit of meditation. And then I was let into the meeting and they were so lovely, my assessors. I got 3 women, which apparently is just completely unheard of. I have a friend who's an assessor and she said in all the assessments she's ever done, she's never been with another woman on the panel. And I was assessed by 3 women, which is wild. But they were so kind, so nice to me, sort of reassured me. They said, do you have some water? Are you feeling okay? Have you done some deep breathing? I'm sorry you had to sit in that virtual waiting room. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. And then what they do is they make you pick up your laptop and do a pan around the room just to prove that there are no notes or anything like that. So yeah, you can't get away with sort of going, oh, I'm just going to plaster the wall over there with reminders. No, you've got to. And they can ask at any time during final assessment, can you just show this round again? So you can't even put things. It's not worth it. So I had to do my pan around and then I loaded up my presentation. So obviously this is the advantage of the virtual interviews as opposed to when you used to do them in person, because now you can have an actual PowerPoint presentation and you just share your screen, whereas historically you used to bring a flip chart, or I had a friend that took an iPad, or you know, it all just sounds crazy now looking back in hindsight that was the way it was done. So I shared my screen and I ran through my presentation. And they allow you to have a timer. So if you wanted to have your phone on you, you could have it, but you have to prove that you then turn it off and put it away afterwards. And it was only there for timer purposes. And the same with any flashcards. So once you have finished your presentation and you've had your questions on your presentation, because you get 10 minutes of questioning afterwards, you have to prove that you put your flashcards away. They might ask you, but you have to make a point about, I'm going to put these flashcards in my bag under the desk now. They're going away, so that you don't have any prompts or anything for afterwards. So yeah, 10-minute presentation, 10 minutes of questioning. And then what they did was with me, 2 of the panel, So there were 3 on the panel. There was the chair and then 2 others. One of them was a development surveyor and the other one was a town planner. So the 2 other women, they each took 10 minutes to question me on multiple competency areas, obviously within their specialism. So the development surveyor questioned me on vals, development appraisals, little bit on, what else did she ask me about? I can't even remember now. It's been over 2 months. Sort of, you know, my generic competencies. She had surveying and mapping she asked me about, and then the chartered planner, she asked me about planning and development, regeneration of the built environment, spatial policy, all my planning related ones she went into on that. And then at the end, the chair has 10 minutes to ask you any of her personal questions that she has, or she or he, but they will have a main focus on ethics. So I was largely questioned on ethics. Now you can say pass at any points during these questions, and they will come back to you at the end. You say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not sure on that. Can we come back to that at the end? You can also ask a further question. So on one of my ethics questions, my chair asked me a question and I wasn't sure if she was going this way or that way with it. So I said, oh, can you clarify, are you asking about X or are you asking about Y? And she said, I'm asking about X. And I said, oh, okay, well then in that case, the answer is, yeah. And then at the end, they will come back to any questions that you've passed on. And when it was over, so it took just over an hour. So I was done about 2:20. And at the end, when it was over, they were again, they were so kind. And the chair sort of said to me, because they, you know, they'd clocked that I was in the office. They said, oh, I hope you're not going back to work. And I said, no, not, you know, I've got the rest of the afternoon off. I'm going back up north tonight, go and see my parents. And they're like, oh, that's lovely. Have a bit of time, decompress, go out and get yourself a wine or something. They were so kind. And then they ask you to exit the meeting. So I left the meeting, and at which point the 3 of them will then convene and discuss and decide whether or not to pass or fail you. Now, like I say, because they were so kind and so reassuring, I had a really good feeling about it, which again is why I was surprised when I was referred. But, you know, I've looked at my referral report, I've thought about it again, and it was a fair sort of assumption to fail me, but yeah, fine. So yeah, I logged off and I sort of sat for 5 minutes, just sort of composed myself. I got my phone out, I rang Tom, sort of told him about it, at which point my friend who'd been working in the office, she sort of came into the meeting room and she and I had a bit of a debrief, and then I followed the chair's advice and went out for some wine. I met another friend, went to the Ned and got a glass of wine, sat on the roof and had some sushi. So it was actually a really lovely day. And yeah, it was such a whirlwind, because an hour seems like a really long time, and it's a long time to be in that environment of being questioned like that, but it also absolutely flies by. The worst bit by far is the 10 minutes waiting in that virtual lobby. But like I say, if you're able to practice some kind of meditation or just deep breathing and just keep yourself centered and composed, then yeah, you'll be fine. Just don't be like me. Don't decide to travel from Brighton to London on the day of and be reliant on the Thameslink or Southern or TfL in general running for you, because I can guarantee you they won't be running, and stress yourself out and then have to go and do some virtual training on Microsoft Teams the hour before your assessment. I say, when you say it like that, I can see why I failed. It was a stressful day all round. Oh goodness. But at least I know what to expect next time around. If anyone has any more questions about what final assessment or any elements of the APC were like and want more detail from me, please feel free to message me. I'm going to leave my details below to contact me, or just leave a comment in this video. Please like and subscribe, because I'm back. If you saw my last video, I took a little break between jobs and I'm back now, back into making videos, and really excited to get some more content out there for you all as I sort of move through the next job and resubmission. I hope you're all having a great day, and thank you very much for watching.